Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. This week we're going to be going over a new universe title called Justice from Marvel. But before we get into that, let's check out some of my own work. This is a comic I create called Random Access. I produce it once a month for my patrons, and then I sell them on my website. It's a 12-page, full-size, full-color comic, and the cover is done by Adam Yeater, and it's really particularly great. It's, like I said, 12 pages, full size, full color, full color, and it's only $3. Plus, you also get a sticker. And this month is the Queller issue. Yeah, so you can get that at patreon.com/Alexander Turbin, or you can check it out on my website at alexanderturbin.com, or you can just message me at alexturbin04401 at Instagram. My website also has all kinds of other stuff, Mutandus, older random accesses, Cyrene, lots of different stuff that I've done over the years. So, Justice, New Universe. It's a little bit outside of the realm of what I normally do on this channel. I like to do usually black and white, early 90s, 80s stuff. This came out in 1986, and it was pretty close to when I started collecting comics, and not a great series. The New Universe has a lot of mixed results. I really only got this Justice, Starbrand, which I think is probably the best one, mainly because of John Romita Jr.'s art, and also DP7. Those were the three ones that I mainly got, and I really only got those till like issue 10, 12, whenever, and then I just pretty much quit them. Excuse me. But this is Justice, and what really drew me to this comic, other than I was a new comic book reader, and when you're a new comic book reader, you just kind of explore different things, and you don't really know what artists or what artists you really will follow, what writers you'll follow, stuff like that. It's really it's a great time for exploration, and it just feeling out what you're going to like and what you're going to enjoy for the pretty much the remainder of your comic collecting career, I think. What really drew me to this was the look of the character and the name Justice, and I was really getting into the Punisher. I'm pretty sure the Punisher miniseries had come out at pretty much the same time, and yeah, so I was into the Punisher, and this has a really big Punisher feel. Really, I had not really thought about it because I think I only read this maybe once, or when you start reading comics and you only have a few. No, who am I kidding? All the time, every comic book collector rereads their comics for the most part. I don't know of any comic book collector that doesn't reread their books over and over again, but in particular, when you're first reading comics and you're first getting into cool new stuff, you'll read your comics over and over again. But I don't remember this being such an influence on my Queller character as it is. His look and his kind of his personality and his background a little bit, where he loses his memory, which is what Queller does when Queller is around a supernatural being or something. He regains his memory and he goes after it because he's like a supernatural killer. But then after that, he loses his memory again. He is kind of similar. He starts his journey with his memory gone. But just kind of the look where his jacket, and he's got like one shoulder pad that's kind of the same. And I mean, I don't know. There's just a lot of coincidences with my character that I hadn't really thought of and recognized, but they're definitely there. So it's definitely some influences. But I'll get back to the Queller character one of these times, because I'm going to put the two random access issues together, or a few of the random access issues, and put him into his own comic. So um, I'm going to go over that eventually. But let's go into the story. Let's dive into the story of Justice. And it's but before that, we'll see who wrote it. Archie Goodwin was the writer and the creator. Jeff Geof. I don't know how you say that, Jeff. I think it's Jeff. Isherwood, and Joe Delidato and Jack Fury are the artists. So I don't know how that's broken down. I think Jeff Isherwood I've seen before, and I really kind of liked his art. And I think this was the first time I saw his art, and I can't remember the other titles that he's worked on, but I definitely know that there were times, I think maybe when he inked himself, that he's really a little bit scratchy, and I kind of think that he wants to be or wanted to be Frank Miller, or had some aspirations to have his stuff look like Frank's, but it really kind of misses the mark on a lot of different angles. You can kind of see that the whole book is really kind of inspired by Frank Miller and Daredevil and stuff like that. Because I mean, it's a street level comic. It's not a lot of superheroism, a lot of aliens or anything like that. So let's start from the beginning and get into the story and go from there. Like you know, or like I've said before, I generally, excuse me, judge Marvel and DC comics harsher than any kind of indie comics artist. You just have so many people looking over it, editing it, and going over it with a fine tooth comb that if there's a mistake, it really is. It shines a little bit brighter than if it's just one or two people working on a project. But here we have your basic criminal element, and they've killed this old lady and taken her money, and you've got this punk rock and street thug kind of thing, which the glasses are pretty cool, and they come into play later on. And they've killed the old lady, and they keep talking about he's got some cookies. He's gonna lose his cookies. He's gonna throw up. He makes a big deal about how that's like a simile or a parable or metaphor or whatever. I don't know. So they jump back into their hideout, and which is just an abandoned building, I guess. And they keep talking about learning about what they're going to do with the money and how they're going to up their crime scheme and stuff like that. And kind of in the shadows, you see Justice, and he's watching what they're doing, and they just keep talking. And they finally see him, and he comes down the stairs, and he's a big dude, and he's got these red eyes, because red eyes are pretty cool and also menacing. And he's checking out their aura, which you don't really know at first that he's checking out, but whether they're good or bad. But one of them pulls a knife on him, a switchblade of some sort, and he fries them with his hands, some sort of energy beam. It's more like a laser than anything else, I think. But yeah. He cinders them. So again, it's triggering in me a sense of Punisher, a sense of Wolverine, a sense of he's an anti-hero, or he's just a badass. So I'm really kind of into it at this part. Then you have the big bad guy who is I don't know, he's in California, and he's talking to his son. And this is very reminiscent of Matt Wagner's Mage, where there's two suits, and they have some sort of magical powers, and they're just going on doing their bad guy stuff. He makes one of his cohorts cut his finger off like the Yakuza do in Japan, because I guess they're having some dealings with a Japanese company or something like that. So he makes him cut off his finger, and it just is there to show how evil that the father and the son are. The father is on the other line, so you really only see the son. Yeah, I think you only see the son, so you don't see the father. I can't remember how this ends, because I'll have to dig out all my other justices, I guess. Which, like I said, I have like 10 or 12 of them, however long I went before I decided that it wasn't for me again. Um, so they just kind of have this big bad guy reveal, and then they go back to Justice, and he's new to the world. He has amnesia. He knows that he's some sort of police officer or something. We're piecing together that he comes from another dimension. Um, Alien, I don't think. I think it's another dimension because they talk about going through different realities and stuff like that. So um, he's hungry. He grabs a pretzel, but the pretzel guy seller isn't having it. So he's like, I'll take that back. So then this drug addled prostitute or whatever goes to um, a drug dealer, and there's this whole drug element going on. It's really very typical, very I don't know how you say it. It's just a little bit dull, and it's just a lot of what we've seen regurgitated over and over again by the Punisher, by Frank Miller. Only this is really not. It doesn't have the artistry that the Frank Miller has. It doesn't have the. I don't know. It's whatever Frank Miller has that really turns on. Maybe it's all of the noir stuff, detective stuff that he was into, but it really, it's this is like written and drawn a little bit like a Stanley, Jack Kirby kind of crime thing, and there's nothing wrong with that, I suppose, but it's just not very heavy or deep. It's pretty shallow. It's kind of like you have your shows on TV like your NYPD Blue or stuff like that, where it shows crime and crime elements and has stories like that, and you know that it's just it's okay, it's good. I mean, no offense to anybody that likes NYPD Blue, but then you've got shows like The Sopranos, which are so artfully done, and it goes above, and like anything Martin Scorsese does, it goes above what this old trope. It's a trope, and if you're going to use a trope like this whole drug paraphernalia, drug addicts, drug dealers thing, then you need to come at it from a different angle, and they don't. They just don't. It's a street level drug deal, and Justice gets involved. He's reading their auras again, which it doesn't really explain if a blue is good or a green is bad. Although I think a green is bad. I think blue is maybe just weak, and they really don't use that to the effect that they could. They could have really have delved into the use of his aura reading abilities. Maybe he could have interacted with their aura or used their aura, taken their aura. So there's a lot of different things they could have done with this. And here's a page that is really Frank Miller look-alike. But that's pretty cool. That's all right. Everybody needs their influences. I don't know if Jeff Escherwood had been doing comics for a while at this point or not, but he definitely had some influences from Frank Miller and stuff. So anyway, Justice goes and he deals with a drug dealer, and he just kills people, which is one of the things that I think really drew me to the comic, that I enjoyed. So then you have all of these other extraneous characters. You've got some sort of DEA agent. It's not a DEA agent. She's some sort of justice department crony. I don't know. It doesn't really give a great succinct answer to what she is. But she's a cop, and she's trying to get into this club called the Factory, and that's where some stuff is going to go down, I guess. There's lots of drug dealers, there's lots of cronies, there's lots of there's different drug dealers. There's like different hierarchies, and they have like this. Um, one of them is a cop, a DA agent or something, and this big bad guy drug dealer knows it, and he's gonna kill him. But then he says that he's a double crosser, and he really is working for him, and he's gonna double cross the other woman, Justice Department agent. So it's a big double cross kind of thing, and they're just talking about drugs and money and stuff, and then which is really kind of exhausting reading, and so it goes back to Justice, and you get the first realization that his name isn't Justice, it's Tensen, and this is the universe that he's from, which is it really looks like anything that you would have seen on Silver Surfer. I would have thought that was uh, where is Silver Surfer from? Shambhala? No, I can't remember. But anyway, he this is his world, and that's his woman, his girlfriend or whatever, and they're gonna have a kiss, and these ninjas, uh, yet again a Frank Miller inspired kind of thing, and so they do something to him, and that's when he flashes back, and this is one of the characters that was from the beginning of the factory. She let them in because she thought they looked interesting or something. But then Justice finds all of these characters, these extraneous kind of characters that he sees, and he's reading their auras, apparently the drug dealers' auras, and he goes into action trying to find where the bad guys are and what the bad guys are doing. And so you have the character, the Justice Department character, again, kind of infiltrating the drug cartel. I think part of it's cartel, part of it is a lower level thug trying to become something bigger than the cartel. Here's a panel that is really inspired by Frank Miller again, and nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a pretty cool panel, but he's just spraying bullets around. And here's another part of the powers of Justice, because one of his hands has the laser type weapon and the other hand has a shield, so he can protect people and himself with his shield with one hand and then blast people with his other, which is pretty cool. I really do like his costume, his outfit, except for the rainbow part on the front. There really could have been something a lot cooler. And the baby blue, not so badass looking. It could have been all white. That would have been cool. All white, kind of like a wasn't well. Longshot looked like he had white, but he didn't. Anyway, Justice goes to town and he's killing everybody. He realizes that machine guns are bad and that they cause a lot of damage. So if he ever sees anybody with a machine gun, he blasts them, which is pretty cool. Here's the new universe where they're just talking. They're espousing how awesome the new universe is, and as we already know, the new universe was really kind of crappy, and we knew it at the time. Everybody knew that the new universe kind of sucked. I picked out a few books. I gave almost all of them a try. The Night Mask, I gave one issue, I think. The football one I didn't even think about, and Kickers Inc. And there was the other one with that was like the Iron Man kind of thing that I knew that I wasn't interested in it, but this I was pretty interested in, and the Star Brand. Like I said, I'll probably go over the Star Brand. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments what you think. If you'd like to see other New Universe books reviewed or gone over, then let me know, because maybe people nowadays might think the New Universe is cool. I don't, but there might be people out there that loved it. So anyway, you got Justice and the dude with the cane that has a knife in it and a snake, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool weapon. and they're fighting, and he gets thrown out of the club, the factory, which I'm not really going to go over the art too much, but the fact that he made the factory look so really pretty cool, Jeff Isherwood, that is a really was a really great great way to do it. This panel here, I doing nightclubs is particularly hard. This is a great way to do it. He put a lot of detail in it. We'll talk about a little bit more about his art later on. So then Justice kind of finds the dragon lady. They call her the dragon lady. I don't know why. And the Justice Department woman, and he kind of protects them with his shield. But somebody ends up dying, even though he uses a shield. And there's more rigmarole between the cartel guy and which is him. The cartel guy who had the cane and this DEA agent who was going to be a turncoat or something. I don't know. There's a lot of superfluous characters that really I don't really care about and I didn't really like. And then Justice finds him at the end and kills him. So basically, he just kills all the bad guys and is taken into custody by the Justice Department woman and her partner. And at the end, it shows the dad unleash the hounds. So he's after this Justice character. So the art, the writing. Let's start with the writing. The writing is very passable. I read the whole thing again. It's not really that great a read. It's not really that fun. The only real fun parts is that it's very stereotypical of a lot of Punisher type of tropes, and that's kind of fun nowadays. I mean, it's very in your face. Justice is what justice is, and he's very non-relinquishing of any of his the ways that he is. I mean, he just wastes people because I guess he can see their aura and he knows if they're good or bad. So that's pretty cool. But the writing is I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. Everybody has a pretty good voice of their own. There's a lot of writing. There's a lot of exposition. And if you're into that kind of Miami Vice thing, because I think this is very Miami Vice-ish, where there's a lot of cartel, a lot of drug dealer tropes going on. So it's really, I mean, it is what it is. It's a lot of writing. It's not horrible. I read the whole thing. I didn't hate it, didn't love it, didn't hate it. I think if another more, I'm not going to say more talented, because writing comics is hard. Even the writing part is hard. I say that, even the writing part. That might be the hardest part of all. But writing comics is hard. And, if Alan Moore had done this, he would have done it a lot differently. Frank Miller done it, he would have done it a lot differently. And I would have enjoyed it a lot more, I think. So if it had been done by another writer, I think I would have enjoyed this a little bit more. The art, like I said, I've seen Jeff Isherwood do stuff before, and I really enjoyed it. This is really very plain. He goes with a 6 panel grid. Most of the pages, this is a little bit different. It's a square box every time. He's not going to change the panel dimensions ever. He's not going to throw in here's one without a panel, which must have driven somebody crazy. But I mean, it's very basic. It's a lot of it's well done. You've got some good close-ups. You've got some good medium shots, some good far shots. You don't have a lot of motion and movement here in this fight scene. That's like pretty much the only fight scene in the whole thing. Like I said, I really like the factory setting, but overall, I'm not really super impressed with the book. There's too many of these medium shots where it shows all of the characters. That's good for telling the story, and there's a lot of writing, so we kind of probably felt pinned in the box. But if you got a lot of those medium shots, then and no real close-ups, like you've got a close-up of face, close-up of an action scene, but really, you've got to do a lot of to make this stuff interesting. You've got to have a lot of different poses. The poses are very standard. They're not very action oriented. And when they are action oriented, you kind of feel like he's taking it from another better artist. Shouldn't say better, another different artist that other people maybe think is a little bit better. Uh, um, so Jeff Isherwood is pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at some more of his other stuff. Maybe check out Justice #2. But I didn't really love this book for the art. I didn't love this book for the story. I liked this book for the character, even though it has this squiggly rainbow line, which should not be there. It would have been much better to have like a symbol of some sort at the beginning. I really like his leg pauldrons and his gloves and stuff. So I like it for the character. I like it for the vigilante aspect. I like the logo. Logo is really cool. That's something I would do. And it was something new that I had picked up when I first started to read comics. So it is what it is. I would never have picked this up now. So if you guys like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, leaving a like on the like button, and hitting the notification bell to get more videos.